Hi guys, hope you're good. I'm just about on time. I say just about on time, slightly late. So give me a second. My phone is on. I think that's everything. I don't know if that's everything, but I'll find out soon enough. Give me a sec. Crazy FC guy says 6-7. Did you watch the game yesterday? If you did not watch the game yesterday, then I am jealous because you did not experience the misery that was yesterday. But I hope you are good. Hope all is well in Norway. Oh, give me a second. I've just screwed something up. That'll do. Grace says, hey, how's it going? Grace, is that a new profile picture? Is that Salah in the picture? Potentially somebody else. Fish says, hi from Gornik Zabje fan. How are you, Fish? Is Gornik your first team or is Liverpool your first team? I always forget. Grace says you can forget the Friday stream because I'll be out at no point. Fair enough. Yeah, I think you said you were going somewhere yesterday. It would have been probably quite difficult to do the Friday stream anyway. So that's probably worked out quite well. Stefan says, join us again for a mixture of football chat, hat chat, shirt chat, travel chat, food chat, and possibly an exciting match. It can't be any worse than yesterday. I realized I might have jinxed it because yesterday I kept saying, I know we really want a draw today. I know we really want a draw, but tomorrow I don't think we'll be happy with a draw. So that was my kind of talking point yesterday. And how does that work out? We end up not even getting a draw. Oh God, that team is a mess. Grace says, Fish, hi. The shadow guy, also known as Jonathan, but potentially wants to be known as Leo, says hi. It's not me, Leo, or is it? Give me a sec. Stefan says hello from Oldham. They've kicked off in this match. I'll set the timer in a bit. Grace likes the shirt. I do too. It was one of my Christmas purchases. I bought it from the Liverpool store for £10. It was on sale, so I just had to get on that. And the funny thing is, when I bought it, it still had a £35 tag on it. So I'm quite happy I got this for £10. Bit of a bargain. Jonathan hates if. What is if? You have to tell me what if stands for. Idiotic fans. Stefan says Liverpool reached their 2-goal max limit in a league game. They did. And the funniest thing is, neither of those goals were even from open play. There was the Van Dijk header from the corner. Give me a sec. And the Szoboszlai free kick. So it's starting to become a 2-goal limit purely from set pieces. I'm still vaguely annoyed after yesterday, and the fact that they would just flat out refuse to take a shot. They would get into the positions. And apparently they did a match of the day analysis on this where they were saying the exact same thing that we were saying yesterday, that they were getting into the positions and just refusing to shoot. Just trying to walk the ball into the goal. It's insane. But let me set the timer. There you go. Close enough. That makes sense. Jonathan hates the shirt. Well, Jonathan does support Chelsea, I think, so that would make sense. Slat Talk says, do you believe Van Dijk is part of the problem, not the solution? Not necessarily. I don't necessarily think Van Dijk is part of the problem. I think his bad form is a consequence of the situation. So, as an example, a way you could flip that on its head is if you replace Van Dijk with another centre back, would it fix everything? I don't think it would. So I think I don't necessarily see Van Dijk as the problem. I think it's a bit easy just to pick players who are performing badly and call them the problem. I think it's more of a tactical thing, to be honest with you. The tactics are just absurd. And the tactics are absolutely nonsense. These amazing kind of possession-based tactics that involve passing the ball left, right, up, down, left, right. But don't ever take a shot. I think that's the main problem, to be honest with you. Fish is managing Wimbledon and Football Manager. Nice. Whereabouts are you in the league? And how is that going? Is it the new Football Manager or is it the old one? Yeah, I bought this shirt for £10. I thought that's a pretty good deal. Slat Talk says he was given a new contract out of sentimentality, not potential. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Imagine last year. Last year, everybody was begging for Van Dijk to get a new contract. So I don't think they gave him a contract for sentimental reasons. And this is also a club, and this is also a management structure that does not work based on sentimentality. Because you just have to cast your mind back to 6 months ago. Everybody was desperate to give Van Dijk a new contract, and I think he deserved a new contract. I think it's too easy just to point to specific players and think that they're the problem. Because whilst you could say Van Dijk's the problem, you can also say Alisson's the problem, and we can also say Salah's the problem, and we can also say Wirtz is the problem. I think when the issue is multiple players, that to me points to it being a system thing, rather than something specific to any particular player. Grace says, yeah, that was hilarious yesterday's stream. I was so annoyed, I can't lie. I was so annoyed. Jonathan says it was boring, but Jonathan was loving it, really. I mean, even Grace's mom found it funny, so that's how you know it was good. Sab says, should we get Bastoni? He's a very good player, but I don't know if he'd want to come to England. Those Italian players, they seem very loyal to staying in Italy, and I don't know if he's another player that, you know, is loyal to his club and wouldn't want to make the move. If you just look at his stats, and if you look at his ability, and if you look at his physical gifts and his technical gifts, he's very good. But it seems to be quite hard. It seems to be quite hard to get Italian players out of Italy. Reluctant Gamer says, "Hey, how you doing? Probably not good. I saw you lost to Villa. So it's been a bad weekend for you, and also a bad weekend for me." TK says, "Slat out, Jabby in." I'd be fine with that, but it would have to be at the right time. And in terms of a long-term plan, or in terms of a medium-term plan, that's what I would want them to do. But the key part of that is, when does Alonso want to come in? Does Alonso want to have a rest? Does he then want to have a full pre-season? Does Alonso want to come in next season? Like a lot, in the sense that a lot of people are saying get Alonso in now, but there's a dependency, I think, on when Alonso would want to come in. Jonathan says £10 for this shirt is too much. How much would you pay for it realistically? And if it didn't have a Liverpool logo on it. Slat Talk says, I think it's a recruitment problem. Isak, Wirtz, Kirkez, Frimpong, and signings that don't fit. I don't think it's a recruitment problem. I think it's a tactical problem. I think those players are fantastic. I think Isak is Premier League proven. Wirtz, you could say, alongside Musiala, is the kind of the up-and-coming star of Germany. Kerkez was the best left-back in the league. Frimpong, very good as well. I don't think it's a recruitment problem. I think it's not the fact that they bought them from the shop. It's after they bought them, what are they doing with them? To me, that's the bigger issue. Yeah, and was that at home? Damn, I thought you were away. But yeah, that's not ideal. Grace got more classic Haribos. Nice. Are you gonna eat the entire pack? How long does a packet of Haribos last you? Can you ration your packet of Haribos? Can you have like a couple of sweets today, a couple of sweets tomorrow? Or are you like me in the sense that you destroy the entire packet in one sitting? N says, it's crazy how everyone plays good when they play for their nation, but somehow play bad for us. Exactly. So that backs up what I was saying earlier, in the sense, I don't think it's a recruitment problem. I think the players are good. It's just the system that they've got them playing is not optimal. It's this whole possession nonsense and we're a possession team now. I mean, possession don't count for nothing. You need to put the ball in the back of the net. You don't win games by having 70% possession. I think it's just a mindset. For me, it's a mindset problem, 100%. Did you Sanchez played for Man United and Barcelona? Which Sanchez? As in Alexis Sanchez or a different one? He played for Arsenal as well, right? Jonathan would pay 1 GBP for this. Fair enough. Even if it had the Liverpool logo on it, would you still buy it for £1? Or are you saying you'd buy it for £1 if it did not have the logo on it? Not in one go, but they will be gone by tonight. Fair enough. So you can ration out a packet of sweets for the day at least. That's more self-control than I have. Biscuits, sweets. Like I just eat. If you put a packet in front of me, they'll all be gone. They'll all be gone. Jonathan says, "I want you gone." James says, "What do you think of the players not kicking the ball out of play to bring Endo on?" Yeah, that's not a good sign. They're coming out with their reasoning now, in terms of not wanting to break up the play and all that, but that just feels like excuses. To me, that says they don't respect the manager, and they don't respect the coaching staff, because it was Slot and it was also Sipke Hulshoff. They were both telling the players to kick the ball out, and they flat out refused. So I'd say that's not a good sign. It reminded me a bit of, the Kepa and Sarri thing, where Sarri was trying to bring him off for the penalty and Kepa wouldn't come off. It felt a bit like that. I think if they're doing that in public, in front of everyone, then things behind the scenes must be even worse. So I think that was really bad, to be honest with you. And even if a certain player didn't see it, you'd think the captain would step up. You'd think the vice captain would step up. I can't remember if Robertson was on the pitch at the time. You'd think the leadership group would step up. Alisson, Salah, them lot, but no one bloody did it. So it's pretty. It's not good. So I think at this point they are going to have to make some sort of managerial change. Because if your players are doing that, they're not playing for the manager, so what's the point? What is the point? Arsenal are through here, but they ain't going to do nothing. Yeah. Fish packed Mata on FIFA 17. Very nice. Is he going to go straight into your team? Or are you going to bench him? Jonathan sent me something. On what? Where have you sent me something? Aiden says this is the first time I've wanted Arsenal to win. For me, it's the first time I've wanted United to win. So, what I've done is I've taken a shower before the game, and I'm also going to take a shower after the game, just to kind of get that off me. I would rather City win the league than Arsenal, because I think if Arsenal win the league, then that has a level of significance that would actually matter. Whereas if City win the league, let's be honest, nobody cares. So I'd rather City win the league. Dude, you sent me stuff on Instagram. I barely even check Instagram. I saw you tagged me in something the other day, which is quite funny. Something along the lines of tag somebody you think is cute. And you tagged me in that. That was kind of funny. Zaim says, does this mean Slot has lost the dressing room? I think so. Although the leadership group of Salah, Van Dijk, McAllister and Robertson have been poor, would it be right to back them when they haven't been good? I think the fact that they quite blatantly ignored his instructions to me says that to me says that he has lost the dressing room. Let's flip it on its head. Let's just flip this on its head for a second. Let's pretend that was not Slot. Let's pretend that was Klopp. So if Klopp is screaming at them to kick the ball out, to me they're kicking the ball out. So I just think they just don't respect him for whatever reason, to be honest with you. Yeah, the fans are annoying, as Aiden says. So Bosley next captain. I think you're right. I think he was the cup captain at Salzburg. Was it Salzburg? Whichever Red Bull team Liverpool got him from. Captain for Hungary. He shows leadership capability on the pitch. And he's the one player who you can say when things are not going well, he still tries to kind of drive the team on. People are making comparisons to Gerrard, which I think is a bit premature, and I think that's a bit far. But yeah, I would say kind of when Van Dijk goes, you'd probably be looking at Szoboszlai. Stefan says, everybody wants Villa in England, Hearts in Scotland, Lens in France, Dortmund in Germany. Yeah, that's a good point. If I wouldn't mind Villa winning it, because I think Villa are a genuine club with genuine fans and genuine history. Jonathan says, you are cute, Umar, a cute girl. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's kind of what I've always aspired to be honest. That's been one of my lifelong goals. Not just to be cute, but specifically to be a cute girl. So that's an achievement for me right there. I can die happy now. Yeah, Szoboszlai was from Germany. Hearts 1, Celtic 2, so gap down to 3 points. This might be the most interesting Scottish league that we've had in a while. Certainly makes things a bit more interesting than the same team winning over and over again. Aiden says the Szoboszlai is too good for Liverpool right now. Let's hope he doesn't think that, because I think Liverpool desperately need him. Yeah, but we were talking about this a bit yesterday. I just feel that it's reached the point now, and it's reached the stage now where I can't get excited about signings, because I think if you just put new players into this, I don't know. If you just put Bastoni into this, or if you just put Mbappe into this, I don't think it would make much difference, because I just feel like, number one, the system is flawed. Number two, I'm not convinced the players respect the manager. And even if new players are to join, maybe they respect the manager for the first few weeks, but then eventually new players will just side with the existing players. So I think, I think you need to make a manager change. Yeah, I'd be happy with Alonso as well. Apparently, Liverpool have contacted his agent. Apparently, so that's positive. Jonathan says that he is more cute. Well, that's good to know. Grace says, "Do you know that you're annoying?" And to be fair, Jonathan says yes. So that's it's a good level of self-awareness. Aiden says it's not the player, it's the manager. I agree. It's the manager and it's the tactics. 100%. It's just I don't know if you saw the game. I don't know if you saw the game yesterday, but it was just pass, and they'd get into the most perfect shooting position where the goal was literally gaping. All you need to do is just smack it at the goal, and they would just refuse to take a shot. To me, that's a tactical thing. They almost seemed a bit scared. Almost seemed a bit scared to take a shot. Jonathan says, "I feel highly bad for annoying you." To be fair, you do come out with good jokes sometimes. The one you commented on the video, that actually made me laugh. So you do come out with good jokes. Aiden says, "We trusted a manager with no top tier experience." I guess it's always a risk. I guess things can work out for a certain amount of time and then stop working out after that. So I think ultimately it was the right decision for last year, given that they won the league. But equally, you can say what was the right decision at one point in time can then also not become the right decision at a later point in time. And I think they just have to react to that. Jalil says, led to believe contact has been made with Alonso. Yeah, I saw that today. Apparently they've contacted his agent to see what the deal is and if he would be interested in making a return. I'd be happy with that. Ultimately though, I do think it will be a next season thing. It's not impossible, but I find it quite unlikely that he would come in mid-season. Edwards and Hughes have to take some accountability. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. They naturally do have credit in the bank for what they did last year. So even though they have to take accountability here, it's not going to take their balance down to zero. But I think it's a fair point to say they've brought in quote-unquote better players, but in doing so, they've removed all the pace from the team, if you think about it. Last year, you had Diaz, who had tons of pace. Last year, you had Nunes, who had tons of pace. I appreciate they were technically not the best players, but you had tons of pace and tons of aggression there. And they've replaced pretty much all the pace in the team with new players. To the point now where I'd say the only pacey player is Frimpong, who's a right back, who's still settling in. So I think you're right. Maybe the model in which they run the club regarding having a head coach and a sporting director, maybe they need to tweak that model slightly. I mean, who knows what happened behind closed doors? Slot might have said something and Richard Hughes might have said something else, and maybe they need to tweak that decision-making process. Because I think there's clearly a fault in the decision-making process for buying new players. Because last year they didn't buy anybody and it went pretty good. They won the league. This year they have bought players and it hasn't worked well. So I think they need to Maybe they need to think more about what the tactics are that they want to play. It felt very much like this year they were making Hollywood signings, like signing big names, signing FIFA players, rather than what they've done in the past, which was not necessarily signing FIFA players big names, but signing the right player for the right position. Stefan says hard to equalize. Damn. I love how there's 4 goals in that game, and the game I'm watching, nothing has happened. Nothing's happened for 25 minutes. He would be a really good manager outside England. Yeah, I think this will be a learning experience for him, because he had still won the league. So I think he does have skill. Maybe he did something slightly different this year, which he's now going to learn from, and then not doing his next job. I think if and when he leaves Liverpool, he is still going to have multiple clubs who would be interested, 100%. Yeah, the way I understand it, Grace, Jonathan's just messing. He's just messing. Aiden says Gakpo isn't good enough. Yeah, Gakpo's become my, I don't want to say my number one enemy, but I'm really starting to detest the guy, because what is he good at? This is gonna sound so harsh, but what is he actually good at? He's not particularly fast. He's 6'4", but he's not a threat from corners. Anytime he gets the ball, you just know he's gonna cut inside onto his right foot and try and smack the ball far corner. He's the most predictable player in the team, and I fail to kind of see what his strengths are. Anytime, like he's decent off the bench. He's decent off the bench because his kind of cut inside move is more likely to, the one move that he does where he just cuts inside onto the right foot and then smacks it. That's more likely to work against tired defenders off the bench. But seeing him starting, it's like playing with 10 players. Jalil says, given the situation, we could be 7-8 today, and I will worry we will keep slipping. It's a fair. I mean, it's a fair thing to worry about. You're right. I don't see things improving. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. Oh, it's tough though, because ultimately they need to make tactical changes, but it might be quite hard for them to kind of completely build a new system. But equally, if they don't build a new system, they're just going to slip further. So I don't even know what the solution is at this point. But I guess that's why they get paid the big bucks. Zaim says, I back Salah over the players until top 4 is unreachable. Salah should have shot over squaring the ball. That's the thing I was crying about yesterday on that short. When I was saying, why don't they shoot? Why is nobody shooting? Why do they keep passing the ball? Why do they keep getting into open positions and then passing it left? Just take a damn shot. And the thing, I'm about to get triggered again. The thing is, they'd be so close to the goal where the angle is like this. The angle is tiny. I'm like, bro, Salah, Wirtz, Jones, Gravenberch, anybody, just kick it at the damn goal. But they would just always elect to pass it left, and it irritated me like you wouldn't believe. That irritated me more than the result. Van Dijk was calamitous. Oh, Arsenal have scored. I'm waiting to see the replay on that. Van Dijk was calamitous. Alisson blatantly ignored Slot's instructions. I get what you're saying. Even though I feel like it's the manager and it's the tactics that are at fault, equally, I think the players should still be professional and listen to what the manager is saying. I'm just seeing the replay for this. It's a cross by Odegaard. It was a shot by Odegaard, but it wasn't a particularly powerful shot. And then Timber just outmuscled. Who's that? That short one, Martinez. And it looks like it's 1-0. Grace says the whole team isn't good enough. I agree. Well, I think the players individually are good, but I don't feel like the tactic. Yeah, that goal's been given, by the way. I don't feel like the tactics or the system is getting the best out of them. It's this possession. It's this whole possession nonsense. Shit. Where's the score? Sorry. Possessions are all well and good, but if you do nothing with it, who cares? That's the thing. Grace wants me to pin Jonathan 6-7. I have to, but the rule is, I always have to just pin the first comment, unless you're 100% okay with it. Yeah, Arsenal scored. Timber. Mo Salah 11, the GOAT, says Salah was in an open position yesterday and he passed it to Gamble, who was covered to 2 men. That's it. Like, that's the thing I was crying about yesterday and uploaded a short about. And it wasn't just Salah. It was also Wirtz who was doing this. It was also Gravenberch who was doing this. It was also Jones who was doing this. So to me, that says if everybody is that incompetent when it comes to decision making, then it has to be a tactical instruction. The players, as weird as this sounds, the players almost seemed a bit too scared to take a shot. Like they might get in trouble if they take a shot. That's the kind of vibe that I got. You want me to pin Jonathan 6-7? Okay, give me a sec. There you go. I've pinned your message. I hope that's good. Zaim remembers Kirkes crossing against Burnley when he was 6 yards. Oh God, I'd forgotten about that. But you're right. Were we watching that game and I was saying he's got the Robertson disease because his foot is like this, so he just automatically, whenever he hits it, it ends up being a cross. Oh God, that was the worst one. I can't believe I've forgotten that. But you are right. You are 100% correct. I just can't believe I'd forgotten that. That was the worst example of what I was crying about on that short. I think Slot has made a system to be close, but the players are making individual mistakes that Slot is getting the blame for. It could be. You might be onto something. I guess the flip side might be, why is he drilling a system in training that the players are still uncomfortable with? I guess that would be one point. And the second point would be, last year you had a system that worked. You had a system that won the league. And you had a system that topped the league table in the Champions League. So you had something that worked. So why is this bold man changing something that worked last year? That's what I don't get. Last year's system was amazing. You won the league pretty easily, and you won the group stage of the Champions League pretty easily. I appreciate they went out to PSG, but PSG won it. So then my thing would be, why is he so significantly changing something that worked very well? Jalil said Slot has taken all the hard work over the 8-9 years and has undone it. His tactics are rubbish. That first part specifically, I was thinking about this today, and I do think maybe not quite all, but I understand where you're coming from. I think it's still salvageable. I think they can still salvage the good work over the past 8-9 years, provided they make a managerial change at the very latest in the summer. If they don't make a managerial change, I'm going to be annoyed as hell. Grace has gone to TikTok to get away from Jonathan, and Jonathan has changed his username to Grace Hater. But Grace has escaped to Jonathan, so that's all good. James says the games were close last season, winning a lot of games by 1 goal margin. It's just our defense has been mistake prone this year due to players. Yeah, I think that is true as well. I think Konate was a lot better last year. Maybe because he didn't have the whole Madrid situation going on. I think Salah and Van Dijk were better last year, potentially because they were fighting for a new contract. They need to do a kind of proper. I was going to say they need to do a proper analysis of this in the summer, but ultimately they need to do a proper analysis of this now and then fix it in the summer. Elias says, hello, bro. How are you? Long time no speak. Yeah, all good. Just came back from a holiday a few days ago. I think my team needs to hang on and play on the counter. I think they do as well. And I am supporting your team today because I do not want Arsenal to win the league. So I'm supporting you. But the plan is I'm going to take a shower immediately after the game just to get that off me, because supporting United does make me feel a bit dirty. But you're still in this. It's only 1-0. It's only 1-0. There's a long time to go. Jonathan wants you to come back. Jonathan has apologized. Maybe you need to... Oh, Mbeumo scored. Let's go United. Zubamendi mistake, I think. Mbeumo and his giant backside have put the ball in the net. Ilias will be very happy about that. Was that a Zubamendi mistake? assist by Zubamendi. Probably thinking about the mountains. That is an amazing assist by Zubamendi, to be fair. Completely put it on the tee for Mbeumo. And to be fair to Mbeumo, you do have to be alert and awake that sometimes these things can happen. So I'm liking it. 1-1. Ilias says everyone is Team United today. Yeah, nobody wants Arsenal to win. So I'm really happy, as Stefan says, and Mbeumo scored from a Zubamendi assist. Yeah, you need to revert your username back. Mr. Default say Kinder Mbeumo. That will always be funny. But yeah, amazing assist by Zubamendi. But yeah, as Ilias is saying, everyone's Team United today. No one wants Arsenal to win. The plan for me is to take a shower immediately after the stream, just to get that off me, because I do feel a bit dirty supporting that team. It would be the most Arsenal thing ever to bottle this. But I almost feel like Wolverhampton Wanderers are more likely to win the league than Arsenal. Grace says, did you like my jokes? I did. I like the one where you said, the one about what's the name of a guy who sleeps by the front door? Matt. I was thinking that is so terrible. That is actually funny. Jonathan's changed his name back. There we go. So Jonathan has apologized. It is weird people supporting you. Rice is taking a free kick. But it's caught by, what's his name? Sene Lamens, that guy. Mr. Defoe was so tired today, and I was falling asleep, and I woke up to him bum off the goal. I mean, that's a pretty good time to wake up. I can't lie. I'm hoping it would be the funniest thing ever if you won this game. I mean, I'll take a draw. I won't lie. I'd take a draw. But it'd be the funniest thing ever if you won this. Grace is back. Prediction was 2-1 United. I was going for a draw, but 2-1 United could happen. Here's Ahmad. Who were we saying yesterday Ahmad was better than? Was it Saka? But he wins a corner. Dude, Arsenal have so many defenders. I forget half their names. Sonny says, the world is gone. Arsenal on top of the Premier League. Nuke the whole universe. It has lived for long enough. Thankfully, Arsenal are not going to win anything. I just feel like the bottle gene within Arsenal is far too strong. They're on the counter attack here. Casemiro's gone down. I was about to say we just need to hold on for half time, and then I had to correct myself. They just need to hold on till half time, I think. Dude, I'm absolutely not gonna Google that. What the hell even is that? Arsenal look a bit shell-shocked, but I think United just need to keep it simple. Even Malusi is saying Man United for the win. We are all supporting Man United today. We absolutely do not want to see Arsenal winning a league. It would genuinely be the funniest thing ever if Arsenal were to bottle the league again. Martinez in the left back spot. I don't know what you're doing there, bro. Crosses it and it hits Dogu's head. It's a chess opening. What is it? Fried liver attack. Oh wow, you weren't lying. Is there a reason you want me to see this? The fried liver attack, also called the Fegatello attack, is a chess opening variation of the two knights defense in which white sacrifices a knight for an attack on the black's king. The opening begins with those moves. Is that kind of what Arsenal are doing here? Is there a reason? Is there a reason behind that? Zaim says, would you want Alonso in now? I would want Alonso in whenever Alonso wants to come in, if that makes sense. Because there's a chance he's going to want some sort of mental break from the Madrid thing. So I'd want Alonso to come in whenever he feels it's right, and therefore whenever Liverpool can benefit best from that. I think there's a risk if you bring Alonso in too early and he's still a bit tired from the Madrid nonsense. We might not get the best out of him. So we might get a substandard, tired version of Alonso. I want the fresh version of Alonso, who is full of enthusiasm. For me, changing mid-season doesn't set a good foundation for a new manager to come in. No time to instill his philosophy. That's true as well. And additionally, the starting position. Mbuemo hits it over. The ending position that he'd get, he largely wouldn't have much control over, if that makes sense, and so that would therefore create false. It would create a false narrative. Like people would say Alonso finished 11th, I don't know, Alonso finished 7th, and then that would create unnecessary pressure. Also, I think bringing him in mid-season, he doesn't have enough time, as you've said, to instill his philosophy and to instill his tactics. I think, unfortunately, we are likely going to have to consider this a sunk season and just get the best out of it that we can, and then bring Alonso in the summer. Sonny says, if Arsenal win, then football heritage is dead. We need them to bottle. Thankfully, I think they will bottle. I think bottling is deeply ingrained in their DNA. Arsenal could be 3 points ahead. Arsenal could be 30 points ahead. And there could only be 10 points left in the league. And Arsenal would still find a way to bottle that. Yeah, I don't really understand chess either. I used to kind of play it-ish, but didn't really understand what I was doing. Why are you guys all telling me to buy Premier League cards? Buy Topps 2026 Premier League cards. Jonathan says yes. Even Grace says yes. What is that? I mean, I presume they're trading cards. Oh, it's half time, by the way. What, like this? Like these things. I mean, it's pretty cool, but then I'm thinking, what would I do in them? Oh, did they have shiny cards? Why is Emil Heskey there? Is he a Legends card? I could do. I wouldn't spend £75 on them, but if you're interested, I could give it a go. Sonny says, what trophies are left for Arsenal? Can win. They're in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup because they aren't winning the Champions League or Premier League, that's for sure. Probably those two. But even though they're trophies, I know some people consider the FA Cup a big trophy, but I don't. There was that season where Liverpool's quadruple season, where they basically ended up with the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and no Champions League and no Premier League. I was so annoyed that season that I didn't even watch the parade. Like they are trophies, but I don't really get any sort of enjoyment out of those two. Stefan says it could be Arsenal's 4th season of second place. I mean, if you've had 4 seasons of second place, they just need to name that position Arsenal. Just call that position Arsenal. So you've got 1st, Arsenal, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Similar to the Buffalo Bills, who lost 4 consecutive Super Bowl finals. Yeah, perennial runners up. Grace said, buy those cards. I could do, and then I could open them. I could open them on a stream, and we can see who we get. Grace says, do you think I like your hat choice today? I think the answers are going to be a no, to be honest. Because if you had liked it, you would probably have said that earlier. I think this is pretty cool. It's pretty simple. But I've noticed you don't like the simple hats that are just basic. I think you prefer them when there's a bit more going on. That is the vibe I get. I should probably set this back to 45 minutes. Beef cutlets. Hopes it's a draw. I'd take a draw. Ideally, United win this, but a draw wouldn't be the worst outcome. Is Saka even playing? Is Saka even, I don't remember a single thing that Saka did. I don't. Granted, I've been watching the game with one eye, but even then, I mean, I presume he is playing, but I don't remember a single thing he did. Grace says, "How's your day gone today?" It's all right. I woke up thinking it was Thursday for some reason, so it took me a few seconds to realize it was actually Sunday. I did some cooking. I made that pasta that I was talking about yesterday. Did a bit of exercise. And before I knew it, it was 4:30. But how about you? How's your day been? He won a corner. I mean, I do think Saka's skillful. I do think he's a good player, but I do think he's overhyped for what he is. He very rarely has any sort of impressive output, to be honest. Saka's this, Saka's that. Saka's the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, by the way, he scored 3 goals in the last decade. Fish says, how good was Robbie Keane? Robbie Keane was very good. He was a lot better at Spurs than he was at Liverpool, to be honest with you. Jan Molby, before my time. But Robbie Keane, very good at Spurs. He only really had half a season at Liverpool. Maybe he should have stayed for longer. Grace does not like the hat. I had a feeling you didn't like the hat. You prefer the other hats. Beef Cutlet says, how infuriating was that game yesterday? Beyond infuriating, to the point where even I lost my cool, and I very rarely lose my cool. It was the whole pass it left, pass it right, pass it left, pass it right, pass it left, pass it right, pass it back, pass it up, pass it left, pass it right, pass it left, pass it right. They would just never take a shot. They'd have the most gaping goal you've ever seen in your life, and they would always say, you know what, let's not take a shot. You know what's better than taking a shot? Passing it sideways. It was one of the most infuriating games I've seen in a long time. Sonny says, can someone explain to me why Alonso is sacked whilst Arteta is given time and more chances? Because even if Xabi is sacked, Xabi more than Arteta, it's just the egos of the Real Madrid players are too big. I think you've summed it up. I think at Real Madrid feels like a club where player power is a lot more pertinent, and player power is more of a thing. So I think that contributed to it. Additionally, with Arteta, he's been there how long now? He's been there maybe about 8 years, and he spent £1 billion. So he's not had kind of much to show for it. I think if all things were equal, if you had a completely equal situation. So let's flip this on its head. If Arteta was to go to Madrid, he'd probably last even less time than Alonso did. Stefan says, nothing compares to Jimmy White losing six snooker world finals. All my memories of Jimmy White were Jimmy White just looking very depressed. and ironically looking very white. Just completely bloodshot. I think part of the problem is maybe he was coming up as Stephen Hendry and those guys were emerging, which made it a bit difficult for him. Grace has done exercise too. I walked around for 15 minutes to get mom an egg and ham pie. Then I had to walk 1 mile each way, so 2 miles total to go up to get my Mars drink. Feet were aching after. That's a good bit of exercise. That's probably about, so you've got the 2 miles plus 15 minutes. Probably close to 3 miles. That's decent. Zabe says Robbie Keane or Jermaine Defoe. For me, Defoe. I'd go with Defoe as well. The fact that Defoe, I feel like Defoe did it for longer. He was one of those strikers that never got a big move, but wherever he was, whether it was Spurs, whether it was Portsmouth, whether it was wherever, he'd always get a fair amount of goals. So I'd say Defoe. Defoe felt like he had more longevity, 100%. Jonathan had a bad day. A lady came up to me outside my house and she asked for my phone number. And then after a few hours, I got a call saying, "Shut up and stop calling me." And that is a terrible day. I had a feeling that could be a fake story. Beef Cutlet says, "I think we sell Gakpo. I'm with you on that. Salah, I think you're probably gonna have to. You might end up going Saudi. Van Dijk I'd keep. Because if you see in there, you'd sell Van Dijk and Konate, which would involve basically changing the whole central defense. I'd want maybe let Konate go and keep Van Dijk. Sell Chiesa if you can and get new centre backs. I agree with that. Bring in Alonso. Yeah, I just hope. I hope they're working on the Alonso deal right now so that they can bring him in. Basically, not as soon as pre-season starts, but as soon as the season's over, just to give him time to plan the pre-season. Random man asked me for directions. Did you give him the correct directions? Sonny says Saka is overrated as F. The last time Saka was relevant was when he missed his penalty in Italy. I agree. I do think he's overrated. He's a good player. He's a skillful player. He's a tricky player. He's a pacey player. But I think ultimately he has no output. Everybody always acts like Saka is the second coming. But then you look at these statistics at the end of the season, and he's got Saka amazing 5 goals. Saka amazing so good 3 goals. He just very rarely has good numbers. Fish says, do a review channel of what? That is the question. Stefan says Saka's overrated because his English much like Jack Grealish, the most overrated player in history. The English media, they do have a tendency to overhype. They do have a tendency to overhype English players. They've done it for years. They never really learn. To be honest with you, Saka's good, but the extent to which they salivate over him, I think is over the top. Beef Cutlet says Liverpool have no penetration. I agree. There's no penetration, and also there's no pace. Last year there was a lot of pace in the team. You had Diaz, you had Nunes, who granted had their faults. I'm not going to revise history. They did have their faults, but they had pace to burn. And now I feel like there's no pace in the team other than Frimpong, who's new. So I almost can't really count him because he's new and he's still settling in. There's no pace in the team. So your counter attacks are slow. Everything is slow. And you just end up losing. Anytime you try and do a counter attack, because you're so slow, the other team, they get all their players back. Jonathan loves double penetrating. I mean, what makes it a double? I'm a bit confused. I was gonna ask you to clarify, but on second thoughts, perhaps not. Defoe definitely did it for longer. I remember he came back from USA to Sunderland and he was still scoring. Yeah, that's why I'd put Defoe above Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane was good. I almost feel like, you know, that season where Liverpool got Robbie Keane, if they'd got Jermaine Defoe instead, there'd probably be a few more trophies at this point, to be honest with you. Defoe was also quite unlucky with who the other players were at the time. That led to him not getting the recognition at the time. But I think you can look back now and say Defoe was amazing. Tim says, do you think Real Madrid can win the Champions League this season? Your opinion? I 100% think they can. Purely because of the players that they have. You got Mbappe, you got Vinicius, you got Camavinga, you got Bellingham, you got Tchouaméni, Courtois. Just the volume of players and the quality of the players. I think Real Madrid, they have a chance every single year to win the Champions League. And additionally, they know how to win that trophy. So I'd say yeah, 100%. I know Liverpool beat them a couple of games ago, but I wouldn't read too much into that, to be honest. just being honest. Jonathan says, welcome to the best channel on Earth. On Earth, does that mean there's a better channel on Mars or on other planets? That's what we need to find out. Sonny says, I didn't used to hate Saka, but I swear to God, I went to an Arsenal fan stream and that guy said Saka more than Yamal, Elise. Well, this is the thing that irritates me about certain Arsenal fans. Not every single Arsenal fan, but it's a special delusion with certain Arsenal fans where they have the best keeper and they have the best right back and they've got the best centre backs and they've got the best left back and they've got the best defensive midfielder and they've got the best number 8 and they've got the best number 10 and they've got the best right winger and they've got the best left winger and they've got the best striker. And the pasta that they serve in their kitchen, that's the best pasta that's available in London. And the forks and knives that they eat with, those are the best forks and knives that they eat with. Everything that they have is the best. But no Champions League, no Premier League for 20 years. Beef Cutlet said, Liverpool going to win the Champions League, mark my words. If they do win the Champions League, I will celebrate with a beef cutlet because beef is getting quite expensive at the moment. So if Liverpool win, that will be on the menu. Grace says, I'm her favourite at the moment. Appreciate that. Tim says, I think I think they have the quality. They just need to be more composed and confident in playing against big teams. Their hesitation costs them goals at time. It does. I do think you're right. I think maybe the flip side is in the Champions League, because eventually it turns into a knockout competition. That makes them a bit more cutthroat because it's a knockout competition and it forces them to take more risks and it forces them to perform. So I definitely see Real Madrid going far in the Champions League. I think Barcelona will probably win the league, but Real Madrid are always dangerous when it comes to Champions League. Jonathan hates Real Madrid more than he likes football. That must be a fair amount. Tim says, Madrid definitely have the quality. They are yet to find a way to use the quality. Speaking of quality, I was going to say, speaking of a lack of quality, Gyökeres is about to come on. But the thing is also with Madrid, they are more than willing and they're more than ready to make a managerial change if things are not working out. They've sacked Alonso mid-season. And to be honest, they will probably sack Arbeloa mid-season as well. And I just feel like whenever a new manager comes in, at the very least, it will maybe rejuvenate is the wrong word. But at the very least, it will give the players a kick up the backside, given that they've brought a new manager in. And the fact that Real Madrid are so willing to do that means the players are repeatedly getting kicks up the backside. and I think that should ultimately result in them performing a bit better. So I do think they've got a good chance. Beef Cutlet still one slight out if we win Champions League. I guess it would depend on where Liverpool finish in the league. Now, if you ask me what position, if you got Champions League and 9th, would you sack him versus Champions League and 13th? I don't know the answer to that. By hesitation and lack of confidence, I mean that miss by Carreras against Barcelona in the final. Yeah, it just seemed to be for whatever reason. I just feel like Real Madrid felt like a bit of a toxic situation at the time. I'm not saying Alonso created the toxicity, but sometimes you can just have a situation and toxicity will manifest itself. So I think that perhaps contributed to it. But the thing is with Madrid, they have quality players in every single position. If you take the managerial side out of it, you could definitely make the argument. If you just put the players on a piece of paper, they've probably got one of, if not the strongest set of players in the world. And I think if you have that available to you, then you're in with a good shot for the Champions League. Jonathan wants some advice about life. Can I ask you? I mean, yeah, I'll try to give a honest answer. Beef Cutlet says, I feel like with Kerkez, we just got another Nunes, but at left back, he just runs. But I like Kerkez. I like Kerkez. I think the problem, again, is tactical. For some reason, so Kerkez's strength, for me, based on what we saw last season, was him getting up and down the wing and putting crosses in. But I feel like definitely in the first half of the season, the manager didn't have him running up and down the wing. The manager had him diagonally coming into midfield. The manager had him inverting. So again, I feel like it's tactical. The manager wasn't using Kerkez to his strength. When Liverpool signed Kerkez and Frimpong, I presumed Kerkez was going to be running up and down the left, and Frimpong's going to be running up and down the right. But what is actually happening is both seem to be coming in diagonally into the middle of the pitch, which is absolutely insane. Because their strengths are using their pace and getting a cross in. Whereas if you come into the middle is a lot more congested, which is a problem. And number two, it's a lot harder to cross from the middle. I just find that bizarre. Oh my God! It's Dogu. Dogu just smashed it in. Arsenal are behind. Let's go United. Let's go United. Let's go United. I'm gonna have to take about 5 showers to wash that off. But Dogu just absolutely smacked it in from about 20 yards. I'm just waiting to see the replay for that. Arsenal are behind. I told you they were going to battle this. I told you that Wolverhampton Wanderers are more likely to win the league than Arsenal. Zubamendi fluffs his lines again. Zubamendi is having an absolute stinker of a game. They better not disable that or disallow that for a handball. There's nothing wrong with that. But the ball basically bounced. And Zubamendi smacked it in. Fish says, I look like that. I'll try Googling that in a bit. James says, if we win the Champions League and finish outside the relegation, oh my God, is that what we've been reduced to? It's still a successful season as we get. Oh, that's a fair point. I forgot about that. You'd keep slot in. Okay, interesting. I would. I can't lie. If Liverpool finished 16th and they won the Champions League, I'd probably still get rid of him. I'd probably still get rid of him. But it's a tough it's a tough situation. I almost need to think about that. I almost need to think about that. Jonathan says, "What should I do? I feel stuck in life. I don't want to go to university, but I have nothing to do." It depends. Depends. People always say it depends what interests you, and I always find that bizarre advice because when you're 17, 18, pretty much nothing work related is gonna interest you because nothing work related used to interest me. So what I'd perhaps say is think about what you can tolerate. So you like chess. I mean, you like chess. You play chess. So that to me says you're probably quite analytical. Would something like programming or coding or developing would that interest you? Something like that? Sonny says, "Hell yeah, screw Arsenal, cry Osaka, haram ball, RIP." But I thought Arsenal had the best everything. How are they behind? How are they behind at home to United? I thought they had the best everything. What's going on? Tim says Dogu just Valverde'd it in. Absolutely smacked it. Absolutely smacked it in. That's a very good observation there, Sonny. I hadn't even noticed. I was celebrating the United goal. Where's Mr. Default? There he is. I've been saying United. I've just been saying United for the past 5 minutes. When what's his name? Dogu absolutely smacked that in. Zubamendi having an absolute stinker. Oh, where's the damn timer? Where is it? But we are all united today. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, literally. Jonathan says, "Is Sunny back or is that a different Sunny?" No, that's the same Sunny. I don't know if you remember Sunny. Do you remember Johnny? So the shadow guy is Johnny. I don't know if Sunny remembers, but Sunny probably does remember because you guys were arguing about something 6 months ago, but I can't remember now. Beef Cutlet says, "Would you take Trent back?" Not in the slightest. I don't know if we need him. I don't want him. I don't want him. I mean, even I appreciate physically he's injury prone now and he's not as fit as he once was. But even if you leave that to the side, even if it was prime fit Trent who was 22, 23, I still wouldn't want him back. He can F off as far as I'm concerned. Seven Enthusiast says, "If we don't sack Slot, what is stopping him from sabotaging our season?" I think he'd probably want another job after this, so he's probably still going to try his best. But it's tough. It's tough. Don't let them score. Don't let them score. Damn right, don't let them score. Arsenal were trying their shitty little. We're gonna take a corner and we're gonna shove people, we're going to block people's sight and get a goal. They were trying that again, but United didn't let them do it. The Slot thing is weird. I do think the season we are screwed from a season perspective, but also I feel like if you bring Alonso in too early when he hasn't had a rest, then we might not get the best out of Alonso. So I don't know what the solution is, to be honest. Dogu has been alright for a guy that I was hating on for a good portion of the past. He's because he was left wing back, wasn't he? He was left wing back, and I thought, who's this guy? He's turd. But further up the pitch, he's getting a few goals. You can't lie. Tim says, what do you think about the entire Vinny Jr. situation? Nothing particularly nice, if I'm honest. That whole club, as in Real Madrid as a club, I just feel like they need a authoritarian type of manager. So maybe like an Ancelotti or a Zidane. I just feel if you have too young a manager, the players won't respect him, and then the whole thing goes kaput. I just feel like they need more of an authoritarian, older type of manager. Grace says Google SCP-049. You say this looks like B. Is my nose honestly that big? I know I've got a big nose, but it's not quite that big. But I weirdly I see what you mean. We both have kind of evil looking eyes. So you might be onto something. You 100% might be onto something. Sonny says send Trent to the gulag along with Arteta and Saka. Save humanity. I mean, Arteta should have been sent there a few years back, but Saka I'm willing to maybe give one more year before I send him. But yeah, Trent can go and join Arteta. Yeah, that was it. Johnny, he had the Johnny Bravo picture. You guys were arguing about something 6 months ago. I probably shouldn't bring that up now. I can't remember what. And where is Jenny, the girl who blocked me out for apparently not watching women's football? To be honest, I ended up blocking her because she just kept starting fights with people. She just repeatedly kept starting fights with people. And then I told her not to do it. And then she kept on doing it. So then I just blocked. I just blocked her. That's the only person I've ever blocked. I don't mind people having difference of opinion, but when people get like proper nasty and they're making other people uncomfortable, then I just end up blocking them. Mr. Default, happy Yokres is on. That's one way to feel good about your new signing. The team that you're playing is very happy that they're on. So, yeah, the Plague Doctor. Nah, I wouldn't take Vinny at Liverpool. His wages would be too high, and I'm not sure. He seems like a bit of a prima donna, and I was gonna say I'm not sure that would work at Liverpool, but to be honest, half the team right now feel like prima donnas. But I wouldn't take him. Who's Benny? Benny? Who is Benny? For some reason that's familiar, but I legitimately don't remember who that is. Yeah, you guys were arguing about something Barcelona related. 100%. Roommate says, can Arsenal win? I mean, they've got half an hour, so it's possible. They've got a corner here, and I'm always a bit nervous whenever they have corners. I mean, they can win, but it's not impossible. Grace has switched back over to TikTok. Grace has had enough of Jonathan. Jonathan needs to be nicer to Grace so that they can coexist peacefully. You watching the game live? Indeed, I am. I say that I've got like one eye on the game and one eye on the chat. Stefan says nobody watches women's football. It's like the new Star Wars movies. I absolutely detest the new Star Wars movies. I pretend we only had episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Episode 7 doesn't exist. 8 definitely didn't exist because that was the worst one. And episode 9 also does not exist. Mr. Default says, do you remember me? I'm the guy who's never changed his name or profile picture. You have changed your profile picture because your initial profile picture was just of your face, I think. If I recall, I have a good memory. I think it was just your face. And then you changed it to the Spider-Man picture. And I think you might have changed it one more time and then changed it back to the Spider-Man picture. I think. But I might be wrong. But yeah, you didn't have the Spider-Man picture initially. As far as I remember, it was like you took a selfie, like you were either like lying down and it was zoomed in on your face. It was one of those, I think. Or it might have been from a certain angle, but it was zoomed in, and then you changed it to the Spider-Man. But yeah, how do you not even know? And how do I remember? How do I remember? Beef wants Calvin Bassey and Bastoni. I forgot about Leone. Hopefully Leone becomes fit. Wharton or Schumanni? Probably Wharton, because I think Liverpool have had the opportunity to sign Schumanni a few times and he's just absolutely laughed at it as if Liverpool are beneath him, so we don't want him anymore. The girl with the yellow profile picture with a dog, someone called Benny. See, this is something I don't remember, but it rings a bell. There was a girl with a yellow profile picture. That was Jenny. That was Jenny. Yeah. As Sunny says, that was Jenny. She was a fraud who is also the manager of United because he's saving humanity from the curse of Arsenal fanboys. Let's go United. Yeah. That was Jenny with the yellow profile picture of the dog. United with a free kick, but this is way too far out. This is like 50 yards out. Grace says, would you want Eze or Saka at Liverpool? What's happening with the whole Eze situation? Oh, he's on the pitch now, but they bought him for a lot of money, but are they really using him? I'm not sure they're really using him. So I can see Eze maybe leaving, to be honest. I wouldn't take him at Liverpool now. Rice hits it over. He'd be too expensive and his wages would be too much. And Saka, I also wouldn't take Saka. Again, he'd be too expensive. And I think his wages would be too much. A few years ago when he was a lot younger, potentially. I think Liverpool and Klopp in particular could have molded him into a different kind of player, maybe more of a finisher, but the current incarnation of Saka, no. Dale says the Arsenal crumble truly begins. My kind of fat backside thought that said apple crumble, and I was like, I've not had apple crumble in a while, but yeah, it does truly begin. It's the same pattern every year, which is why I haven't been arguing with Arsenal fans. Why argue when all you need to do is wait? Because waiting is free. Waiting doesn't cost anything. So there's no point arguing or explaining to them why they're not going to win the league. Wolves FC. What the Celtic, also known as John, I believe. How are you doing? Hope you are good. Oh, do you guys know each other? Beef cutlets and what the Celtic? Yeah, when Dale said Arsenal crumble, I thought that said apple crumble. Wolf says send this as in this video. This one's alive, unless you meant someone else. How are we losing as Arsenal? I mean, I was going to go into an explanation, but to be honest, it was well in the first one, Zubamendi did the back pass, and then Mbeumo just took the back pass and scored from the back pass. And for the second one, you can say Zubamendi was maybe a bit too light. So you can maybe blame both goals on Zubamendi, to be honest. They'll probably say they're both of Zubamendi mistakes. Wolves says, how's Fish? Fish is good. Fish is good. Cunha's coming on. Don't take Mbeumo off. Mbeumo's coming off. Grace says, why did the bicycle fall over? It was too tired. Yeah, Mbeumo's coming off, and what's his name? Cunha's coming on. What we need to happen is we need United to win this, because that's just hilarious from an Arsenal perspective, and also it strengthens Carrick getting a full-time deal, because that's what we want. Jonathan loves women but not women's football. Fair enough. You are entitled to your opinion. Grace says, why did the maths book look sad? It had too many problems. A bit like Arsenal right now. Arsenal also have too many problems. They've got a free kick though. I do interesting things to Jonathan's heart. I'll take that. I'll take that as a positive. Seven enthusiasts rather us get top 4 and Arsenal win the Prem. I'll be honest. I don't want Arsenal to win the league, because if Arsenal win the league, this title then has a bit of significance. It will then mean something. Whereas if Man City win the league, then nobody cares. It would just be hilarious for them, given the amount of time and amount of money they've spent, for them to bottle the league again. You're the official Wolves account. To be honest, you are more likely to win the league than Arsenal are. Even though you've got 8 points, you've still got a chance. Jonathan's moved over to Twitch. Grace says, have you eaten today? I have eaten today. It was the pasta. That pasta that I was going on about yesterday, I made it. It was okay. It was all right. It's that viral pasta that you see everywhere on TikTok that everyone was making a few years ago. It was fine. Like, it was nothing special, but it was okay. It was all right. Ooh, that Dogu again. This Dogu guy is a lot better, I think, as Mr. Default was saying earlier, a lot better higher up the pitch. Cunha Not a bad cross. Sonny says, if Arsenal wins the Premier League, then football's gone. And let's be honest, the amount of people who will scream Arteta is a great manager from the delusional fanboys will end the joy of football for me. It would give them a certain level of validation that I don't feel they deserve. Whereas the flip side is, if they fail to win the league again after spending over £1 billion and spending 8-9 years, it just makes the whole situation all the more funny. And if Liverpool can't win the league, I'd rather whatever the outcome is be a funny outcome, if that makes sense. And Arsenal bottling the league would 100% be a funny outcome. Grace forgot to say another one when Liverpool lost yesterday. To be honest, you can probably say it the next time. Liverpool probably... Actually, no. Liverpool's next game is Karabag in the Champions League, so they'll probably win that one. But after that, they got Newcastle and they got Man City. So we've probably got a few losses coming. Rank, who do you want to see at Liverpool? The weird thing is, like, even with those, if they don't make a tactical change, they're going to turn these wingers into crappy wingers who just pass left, pass right, pass left, pass right. You know what I mean? But irrespective of my concerns with the tactics, I'd maybe leave it like that. I'd maybe leave it like that. They're all good, but I think the tactical changes are potentially more important. That's Thierry. They've got Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry's watching this, looking very sad. Ian Wright's also watching this, looking very sad. Oh, they wanted to celebrate today, didn't they? Wolves forever. I hate West Brom. Damn. Gotta feel sorry for the Albion there. Madueke is coming on, which means Arsenal are probably not going to score another goal. Jonathan says, what about Durwood? She probably got sick of watching Liverpool bottle every single game. Which is why we need a manager change. Grace is still at home alone. Me too. I don't know what our long-term system is when Salah leaves. We'll keep wingers when our fullback strengths are providing width, and Isak and Ekitike both deserve to start. It's a good point. I don't know. Are they going to play three at the back? I almost feel like they're not going to play three at the back because they don't have enough centre backs for that. It will probably be some sort of 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. But the flip side again is there's absolutely no pace in the team. So if there's no pace in the team, maybe they do go with two strikers up front. Maybe they do go with Isak and Cunha up front. But then you'd say, okay, who are the backups for... Sorry, not Cunha. Isak and Ekitike up front. But then the question is, if they want to play two up top, you almost need at least two strikers on the bench as backups for when they get injured. I have absolutely no clue. But I'm excited to see... I'm excited to see what happens, and also cautious to see what happens. I guess the system is highly dependent on which manager they bring in. That is true. I am alone most of the time. Is that that does actually kind of look like Cunha. I wouldn't mind Mateta, you know. I think Mateta is decent. Scores goals, is familiar with the league, he's strong, he's fast, good finisher, physical presence. They just they just keep panning the camera to Arsenal fans who look absolutely dejected in the crowd. So now, if they do lose this, they'll have 50 points. City and Villa will have 46. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Mateta. Actually, not. I wouldn't mind. I'd be quite happy with Mateta. I think he's. I think he's good. Jonathan says even if Mo stays, he's not a future plan. That's a fair point. I don't think they can build. I don't think they can build a future around him, around a player who's got 1 year left on his deal. He is the cute guy who lost his afro. He's a nice human being. I think everyone should listen to him and stop taking lives. Yeah, I think the first half definitely made sense. Um, they are probably gonna have to move on from Salah. Maybe they go for Elise. Elise is good, but he's not Salah level. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody is Salah level. But we'll have to wait and see. Grace is back with the Salah picture. Or Ramos. I almost think if they are going to commit to playing two strikers up top, that's fine. But then you'd need at least two strikers on the bench at the very least, which I don't think they have. So maybe Ramos and Mateta. That's maybe something that could work. Dogu's coming off. You're driving from Kansas to Miami. How far is that drive? That feels like it would be quite some distance. But yeah, Dogu's coming off. I forgot about Jadon Dance. The thing is with Gakpo, I really don't like Gakpo centrally. Cross by Arsenal, but headed over. I feel like Gakpo's whole deal, and his basically his one move is cutting inside from the left onto his right foot, and then smacking it far corner. I almost feel like if you put Gakpo centrally, you lose his strength, which is the cutting inside. So I'd almost be tempted to say, if you're going to play a two up top, sell Gakpo. Danz is a good backup option, needs to get fit. Chiesa, if you're playing two up top, I'd probably sell him. But yeah, I do like Mateta. Wirtz is a good option, I think for central space. You could probably do, you know how Liverpool did back in the day with Gerrard playing slightly off Torres. You could probably do something like that with Wirtz playing slightly off whoever the striker is. Zame says, we kind of played three at the back during build-up when Jones dropped deep, which allows Kirkes to bomb on. Yeah, I've seen that. Sometimes Gravenberch drops in. That seems like more of a kind of build-up transitional thing. Whereas if they... Fernandez has just hit the ball. Fernandez has just hit the ball into Sesko's face. But I think if they were committing to permanently playing three at the back, they'd need a couple of defensive signings at the very least. I come from China. Very nice. Whereabouts in China? In Shanghai or potentially Guangdong or maybe somewhere else. You'll have to tell me whereabouts. I do want to go to China. I might go to China next year. I come from Wolverhampton. Everyone's started now. Ooh, Saka with the shot, but of course nothing happens because it's Saka. And let's be honest, it was a decent shot. Oh, cleared it off the line. Oh shit! I think Arsenal might have scored there. United cleared it off the line, but I think that went past the line. If I'm honest with you, I think that went past the line. Marino. I'm just waiting to see a replay before I mark this as a goal. It was a whole kind of scruffy thing with the ball kind of bouncing up and down. Of course, it came from a corner. See, they do this thing though where they completely block the goalkeeper. I don't know how this is legal. They just completely block the goalkeeper. It clearly crossed the line. But this whole thing they do of completely congesting where the keeper is, and not giving him any space. Yeah, it looks like it went over the line. But that is ridiculous, man. I'm 70. I guarantee you I'm not 70. We did 4-2-4 sometimes last season, and it worked well with two false nines. In Slot's very first game, he did a 4-2-4. That pre-season game, I remember he had Carvalho on the left, Salah on the right, and Szoboszlai and Harvey Elliott, I think, were playing as false nines in the very first pre-season game. And I was like, wow, okay, this is a new way of playing. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. So that's an option as well. It's an option as well in certain games, I think. I'm not 40. I'm younger than 40. I'm also not 95. Grace is correct. 5 minutes, man. Yeah, I think it might have been that game. It might have been that game as well where they used it. Oh, Cunha! Oh my God! What the hell? Cunha just smacked it in. From about 25 yards. Long shot, completely out of nowhere. Cunha just smacked it in. When he was running up, I was thinking of when he scored for Wolves against Liverpool with that long shot, and I was thinking this guy's dangerous from distance. Absolutely smacked it in from about 25 yards. What a goal! Oh, sorry, I forgot. I forgot that he was your ex player. I forgot that he was your ex player. He absolutely is. I mean, Dale is as shocked as I am. I mean, I'm shocked, but also not surprised because Cunha has actually done this against Liverpool in the past. What a goal! I just think you have two goalkeepers in, and then they ain't saving that. It's always very dangerous to back off Cunha. They're just showing Arteta's reaction. It's always very dangerous to back off Cunha because he has got a long shot on him. I love his celebration as well. He's doing this little kind of Fortnite dance. Mazraoui's on. If we don't lock in, we're getting 7-0 at Old Trafford. Oh God, I hope not. Odran says, well, James. Well, James indeed. 7, love seeing Arteta lose. I hate when he's out his box and he doesn't get booked. The thing is, whenever he celebrates, he's just so annoying with his stupid little haircut and his stupid coat that is 2 sizes too big. And there's always a level of entitlement to the way he celebrates, like he deserves to be in front. It's like, bro, you do not deserve nothing other than misery. Don't let them get another now. Don't let them get another. Swansea or Cardiff? I've been to Cardiff, so I'll probably have to say Cardiff. Exactly. Grace is younger than you, and she's better behaved. She's not. So therefore you need to act like the mature one because you're older than her. Corner for Arsenal. They're gonna do their bull crap again, aren't they? I can see them doing it, but it's saved. Oh, she's 20 in October. My birthday is also October, which is a good coincidence. Zaim likes the 4-2-4 system where Sabazlai becomes a striker to press with Verts. Yeah, I like that. I like it. That was the Marseille game potentially that I saw the highlights of. While Ekatike and Salah or Isak are wide, 4-3-1-2 with Sabazlai dropping into the 3 Verts attacking midfielder. Ekatike and Isak are split strikers. I like that. It's kind of reminiscent-ish. It's reminiscent-ish of the kind of Salah, Mane, Firmino thing where yes, Firmino was the number 9, but he was kind of a hybrid number 9, number 10 who would kind of drop deep. And I've always felt like Sabazlai could do that and Verts can do that as well. So I'd love to see more of that because I feel like that's when Liverpool were most successful. When they got Nunes, they more reverted to more of an out and out striker, which I feel like didn't work as well. Now I understand Isak and Ekatike are not going to be as fast or maybe as wide as Mane and Salah were, but you can tweak the system. You can get the width. You can get the width from what's his name? Kirkage. You can get the width from Frimpong. Wolves FC is saying burps. I have a suspicion this is actually fish, and I've been. This was my suspicion at the start when you were saying how's fishy that boy, and I was like, how do you know that name? The fact that you were saying burps and name 5 players makes me think this is actually fish. I had a suspicion at the start, but I was like, let me see. It's my birthday in October. Yeah, it might have been. I didn't see the game. I was in Budapest. Okay, that confirms it's actually fish. Grace's brother's birthday is on the 12th of Feb. Not long then. Just just about 2 weeks. So that's about 1.5 weeks after yours. Fish says get pranked. I had a suspicion. It was when you said how's fishy that boy, and I was thinking, nobody knows that name. But I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. But yeah, there's probably about 7 minutes of injury time, which means 3 more minutes of this. 3 more minutes of Arsenal before Arsenal bottle the league for yet another year. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that happens every single year. Clodex, I'm with you on that. Let's go United, please. I've never supported United before. This will be the first and probably the last time, but it is what it is. Grace says that was fish the whole time. Wow. I had a suspicion when he first joined because he was saying he supported Wolves, but I was like, what? The Celtic supported Celtic, not Wolves. And also he said, how's fishy that boy? Instead of saying how's fish, he said, how's fishy that boy? So I thought, let's see, let's see how this, let's see how this plays out. Gyökeres is through, but he's not going to do anything because he's Gyökeres, and Gyökeres is unable to do anything at the best of times. And we just got 2 minutes left. I'm not gonna laugh. I'm absolutely. To be honest, I won't get quite as annoyed. I won't get quite as annoyed as I did yesterday, but I'd be a bit irritated if Arsenal equalised. But to be fair, even if Arsenal even if Arsenal draw this game, I don't think that's good enough for them, especially since they're at home. Clodex says United need to win. If they can just hold on, for 1 more minute, then they've got this one. That's right. Some United player's gone down, holding his head, wasting time. That's exactly what we want. I mean, the United player, I think it's, what's his name? Dalot. He's going down wasting time, but that's fine. That's fine, because that's exactly what we want. Arsenal not getting a goal. This is all United, and that's exactly what we want. They're showing all the Arsenal fans in the crowd, you know when they've got their hand on their heads. saying, "Oh God, it's over." Oh, Ian Wright's crying. It's the same thing every year. They talk big, talk big. We got the best striker. We got the best goalkeeper. We got the best left winger. We got the best kitchen staff. We got the best toilet cleaners. We got the best grass cutters. They got the best everything. They got the best everything, but they never win anything. And part of the reason I just refuse to argue is because arguing takes energy. Gyökeres just missed because Gyökeres is terrible. So my thinking is always, why argue when you can just wait? Waiting is free. Dan says, hi, is it a penalty? Is what a penalty? Dan is a United fan. Dan is permanently a United fan. I'm a United fan just today. So I'm like, blow the whistle, guys! Blow the whistle. I don't see any sort of penalty. It's that it's the Lamens is taking a goal kick. Full time. Arsenal have bottled it again. Arteta's walking past in his trousers that are too tight and his coat. Why are his trousers always too tight? And why is his coat always too big? Can he just wear anything? Can he wear anything that's the correct size? His trousers are too small and his coat is too big. What is going on? And his hair is just weird. But it's full time. Whistle has been blown, I think. Oh God, they're gonna bottle it. I'm not surprised because I did say they're gonna bottle it again. There's no chance Arsenal win the league. Wolverhampton Wanderers are more likely to win the league, and they've got 8 points. Arsenal ain't gonna win nothing. Zaim says, exactly, using out and out striker like Ekitike and Isak will lose our high press, so moving them wide will help our intensity, and the shape allows for both fullbacks wide like Klopp's system. You would get the best out of Frimpong and Kirkers, and if Tsimikas comes back, you'd get the best out of Tsimikas as well. Keep the fullbacks wide, let them do all the running, let them put the crosses in, let them use their energy. Whilst you keep what's his name, Isak and Ekitike central and closer to the goal. Full time. 2 good wins for Carrick. Are they going to give him a full time? Are they going to give him a full contract? I'd be happy with that. Fish is back. Hall says, "Oh my God, Cunha will die for anything." I gotta say, his goal was absolutely amazing. And the thing is as well, it wasn't a fluke because he's done that before. So I'm just pretty happy he smacked that in. I see Arsenal bottle it. Yeah, I've been saying this for a while, but I've been the crazy person because people are saying, "Bro, Arsenal are so far ahead, bro." Like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, Arsenal are never going to win it with Arteta because Arteta's a clown. Arsenal have good players. And I'm ashamed to say they have some good fans. But that Arteta guy, he's absolutely clueless. Absolutely clueless. Claudax says, "What team do you support?" I actually support Liverpool, but I do not want Arsenal to win the league. So today I was supporting United. I'm gonna have a shower. After this, just in case. Mr. Default is very happy. Let's all laugh at Arsenal. We say let's all laugh at Arsenal, but we've been laughing at Arsenal for 8 years. I've never stopped laughing. I would hope nobody has ever stopped laughing. It's just funny. Best goalkeeper, best right back, best defenders, best midfielders, best striker, best winger in Saka. But bottle it every single year. Bottle things more often than the Pepsi factory. They had Ian Wright and Thierry Henry in the crowd as well, who look absolutely dejected. I feel bad for Ian Wright. He seems like a decent guy. City and Arsenal and Liverpool, to be honest. I mean, that shows how far we've sunk. He's not he's not he's not he's not putting tick against Liverpool. I mean, that's a. I mean, you did beat us at Anfield, but that's probably a damning indication of where we are. That we do not get a tick. But it is what it is. If you had to pick 3 players to join Liverpool, who would they be? I mean, we could hire Jesus Christ, Zeus, and Thor. It probably wouldn't make a difference. I would get rid. Get rid is a bit harsh. I would make a managerial change first. And then the thing is, once you've made a managerial change, then you can think about the players that you need. Harry is loving it. There'll be no swearing today, Harry. I know, I know you have high standards, but there'll be no swearing today. Only happiness, because you absolutely destroyed Arsenal. It was funny as well, you know, when it was 2-1 and then they got that dodgy goal to make it 2-2. I was a bit upset then, and then Cunha absolutely smacked it in to make it 3-2. So yeah, I am going to take a shower after this, because supporting United does make me feel a bit dirty. But I can't lie, I am happy about the result. Yeah, deja vu. Stefan says Arsenal, like Spurs, also have the best stadium, and Arsenal, like Spurs, also have a empty trophy room. Actually, Spurs at least have Europa League in there now. Good to see Casemiro happy. Such a great player. He's had a great career, and I think he will be off. He will be off at the end of the year or end of the season. Zaim says Arsenal dropping points is bittersweet, knowing this has been terrible. The amount of dropped points frustrating. Knowing how many points Klopp's teams used to get. It is. I mean, you're right. When you almost feel like Klopp's teams had to compete with super teams. I mean, to get 97 points and to still fail to win the league is wild. And you almost feel like if you had that now, you'd be loving life. But then if you had that now, people would be saying, oh, it's an easy league, blah, blah, blah. People would be coming out with that stuff probably. Harry says, what a goal by Cunha. Didn't expect that. I kind of vaguely expected it, because he's done that before. He scored a similar, when he used to play for Wolves, he scored a goal from a similar distance as a Wolves player against Liverpool. So as he was running up, I was thinking this might go in, but you still don't actually expect it to go in. So the fact that it went in was pretty amazing. Grace says, "Are you ending now? If so, bye." Yeah, probably in the next 5 minutes. Why you? I'm not even going to ask, if I'm honest. Not even going to ask. I mean, Johnny used to call me Mamacita for about 6 months. Hassan says, hi, I only just joined. What's the discussion? Good question. We were watching the Arsenal United game, and we were celebrating the fact that Arsenal have lost, because we don't want Arsenal to win the league. So we were talking about that. So that's one thing we were talking about, and we were also just generally talking about Liverpool stuff. Generally talking about new players that you might want. Generally talking about, do you want Arne Slot to stay? Do you want Arne Slot to leave? Generally talking about tactical changes and all of that kind of stuff. It's a bit of everything. Any, anyone but Arsenal, yeah. That's basically what it's come to. It's basically what it's come to. Stefan says, "Thank you for saving me from listening to Radio 5 again. No problem, no problem. Happy to help." Yeah, they're just replaying the goals, which we've all seen. But yeah, so that's made the weekend a bit better after Liverpool were trash yesterday. At least Arsenal are also trash, which makes our lives a bit better. But yeah, I'm gonna go now because it's 5 o'clock. No, it's not 5 o'clock. It's 6:30. But before I go, Hassan says, "Well done to Man U after change of manager. Liverpool should follow suit. They should follow suit." So we were talking about who people would want. Most people would want Xabi Alonso, who I would also want. But people were talking about when would you bring Xabi Alonso in? Would you bring in Xabi Alonso now, or would you wait until the summer? And I was thinking it would depend on what works for Alonso. I think you have to base it based on what works best for Alonso. So if Alonso says, "I'm happy to come in now," then you bring him in now. Whereas if Alonso says, "I want to wait until the summer," then you wait until the summer. Grace says, "Thanks for keeping me from being bored." No worries, no worries. Thanks for keeping me from being bored as well. Clodex is very happy, which is understandable. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. Better do a bit of exercise. Probably be back on Wednesday. I think Liverpool playing Karabag on Wednesday, so I'll be back then. Take care, Grace. Take care, Jonathan. Have a nice weekend. Whatever's left of it. But yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday. Cool.